So now we will see the second topic of our this lecture is the software development process, that is also called SDLC, software development life cycle, means the steps that are required to develop a software. So what are the phases that your software passes, then it comes and out just like a complete software. So here the first one is the planning or the requirement gathering. So for what you will do if you are going to develop a software, you will gather the requirements that are required to develop a software. Then you will make a plan. Who is going to, who will be the UI designer, in how much time you will deliver the software, what will be the budget, what will be the milestones, what are the deliverables, everything about it, you will create a plan. In the second phase, you will analyze that. If I have that requirements, if I can develop that software, if what are the requirements that are missing. So here you will analyze whether I can develop that or not. If you cannot develop that, you will just return the project to the customer. Then in the third phase, you will design the software. Then you will develop, then implement and maintain. So these are the 6 phases that is also called the software development life cycle that are used to need to develop a software. So first one is the requirement gathering. So it is the initial or the starting stage that includes your clients, your end user, your stakeholders, the developers whom you are going to collaborate to gather the requirements. Just like a requirement can be the details of that software. For example, if I ask you to develop a business website, so you will ask me or you will say that what kind of application you want, what are the functionalities you want, what kind of features you want us to implement for you. So this can be all the requirement gathering phase. In the first phase, you will gather the requirement from your customers, your end users, and then in the second phase, after analyzing that, if I can do that or not, you will design that software. You will create a high level design, just like you can define the architecture of your system, that my system will look like this. You will necessary algorithms, means the logic, the backend logic that can be used for the software, you will design that. You will design the front end interface for that. So in the second phase, you will create the design of the software. Then third one, implement. Here the developers will write the code for the software on the base of the design you give them. So as I told you earlier, the UI designer is responsible for the design, and the developer will convert that design into the implementation. Here, your design will translate it into the executable code using the programming languages, the frameworks, the development tools, whatever it is. Now, in the third phase, you have implement the code. Your software is developed. Now you have to test whether it is working according to the requirement of the customer. For example, if it is a customer website, then you will test the login. If the logging is working well, if it is responsive, if it is fetching the data from the database, if it is storing the data to the database, if it is retrieving the data, you will check all the components. If all the components are clickable, you will perform different kind of testing on that. You will fix if there is any defect, if there is any bug, or if there is any error. You will perform unit testing, alpha testing, beta testing. Acceptance testing means that if it is according to the user need or not. So you will perform all the testing so that to ensure that your application is working well. Then you will deploy it. Now, what is meant by deployment? Here you can say that in the implementing phase, we have already deployed. Then why this phase? If it is a website, you know that before writing the code in local server, we need to deploy it on the main server by purchasing a domain name or hosting. Then we will deploy the website or convert your website from local server to the main server so that it can be visible to the public, or a public can view it your website. So in the fourth phase, you will deploy your website or application after if it passes the software testing or it assure you the quality of it, then in the last phase you will maintain that you have deployed the software and deliver it to the customer. Or then what you will do here, then you will see that if there is any maintenance required, means the updates you want to implement, if you want to upgrade your application, you will know that how I am going to update that system for my customer. You will take care of that. So in the last phase, you will maintain that website. So these are all the steps that you have to follow for creating a software. This is called a software development life cycle. So in the first, you will gather the requirement, do the planning, then you will analyze whether I can develop that software or not. Then you will implement that, then you will deploy, and in the last one you will take care for the maintenance. Like what is the maintenance? For example, if you purchase a hardware device, just like if you purchase a PC or a system, so from different companies offer different maintenance policy, that we will give you for 1 year free maintenance. If anything happens to your system, we can fix that. So similarly, if you are a software developer, it is your duty that if your customer is facing any issue while using the software, how you are going to resolve that. So it is the last phase of the software development cycle. So these are the 6 phases that you have to follow after developing a software. Then the second one is the software development management. You have seen what are the principles that are required to develop a software. Then you see what are the phases that you have to follow to develop a software, just like SDLC. Now, how you will manage the software? Like what the manage will be your project planning, means in the field of software engineering there is a project manager. So what is the duty of a project manager? It will see that what it will define the goal of your project, then the scope where it can be used, the requirements, what are the timelines, in which deadline you have to deliver the software. So in software management, you have to do the planning and scheduling. What is your project goal? If it is a educational website, your goal is to develop a educational website. Then what will be the scope of that? Means it can be used in the educational institute only. So that can be the scope of that. Then the requirements, and then in the what time or deadline you are going to deliver that. So in software development management, a project manager is responsible for that. Then the team leadership, how you are going to lead your team, how you are going to motivate your team, means a software development is not possible or not the duty of only a single person. All the team have to be work for it, the UI designer, the quality assurance person, the backend developer, the cloud engineer. The duty of the software project manager is to guide the team, to motivate them, to help them to achieve the goal. If they are facing any problem, you have to support them. So you have to collaborate or communicate them. You have to resolve the conflicts as needed. So if you are a software project manager, you have to do that. Then resource management, means it can be your budget, it can be the equipments, just like your how you are going to allocate the resources, whether it is your hardware, whether it is the budget. So you have to monitor that, and you have to then identify that if any blockage or bottleneck is appear, just like there can be a bottleneck of budget. You can say that if their team is working, the backend developer have enough budget to develop the backend, but the front-end developer is lacking some resources. So you have to take care of that, that each and every team member have equal resources or the resources that are required to develop a software. So as the if you are a project manager, then you have to take care of the resources you have to develop. Then risk management. You have to identify if any risk or uncertainty occur, if it may impact your project, it may impact the success of your project, and how you are going to face that risk. Whether it can be the technical fault, if there is any financial problem, or only or any other operational risk, then you have to monitor that. For example, you are going to develop a software on risk. There are only 30% of chances that you will gain the profit from that application. How you are going to cover that loss? So you have to manage that. Then you have to assure the quality of your software is good. You have to perform the testing here, that whatever you are going to develop is a high end or a high quality software. And you have to ensure the testing by doing some testing, just like all there are alpha testing, beta testing, you have to perform all that testing. Then with that, at the time of creating the softwares, you have also to collaborate or communicate with the stakeholders. Your stakeholders can be your end user, your senior management. Means if you are the customer and I am a software developer, you will want the information on daily basis, that how much software is completed, how much work is done, what is the new information of that, or how much time is still required to complete that. So you have to be continuously communicate with your stakeholders for further, if you need some further requirements for the feedback, to get more information. So this is the software development management, that how you are going to develop the software. So the last one is the models. We have seen that how you manage the software, what is the phases that you want to develop the software, what are the principles that you should follow to develop a software. Now the last one is the models. In software development, different models are used to develop a software. In now, in today's world, or you can say in today's time, agile is mostly used. So we will see what are different software models which were traditionally used. What are the traditional software or old approaches for to develop a software. Then we will see a modern approach to develop a software that is used now in different software societies. So the first was the first model, that was this waterfall models. You might think, what is a software models? Before, just like you do designing for uh, developing a software, before implementing that, for that you have to take out a model, you have to use a model, and according to that you will implement your SDLC phases. You might got confused that what are these models and what are the phases. Models are used to implement the SDLC phase, the software development life cycle. That was the analyze, then design, implementation, testing, and maintenance that we have seen earlier. So what this software model says, this says that you will work according to a model. Just like if I give you an assignment, I say you to develop a model or a diagram of different peripheral devices of computer. You will design a dummy or a model of that. Or you can work according to a model, or you can say that the instructions or criteria according to which you are going to develop a software, or the sketch, you can say here. So there are different kind of models that was traditionally being used, and one is the modern approach. We will see that later. So the first was the waterfall model. It was the first and the oldest one, which say that it contains the phases in the sequential manner. What is a sequential manner? You go into a sequence. You will gather the requirement first. If you have gathered the requirement first, you cannot go back to the phase. Then you will do the planning. Then you will implement, maintain, and deploy. You will go in a sequence. Each phase must be completed before going to the second phase. This is the waterfall model. So it says that you have to complete the analysis or the requirement phase completely. It is not like this. For example, if I am the customer and you are saying the asking me for the requirements again and again, I have given you the initial requirement and then you implement the design. You forget something and come back to me and say that what are the more requirements you say. This was not allowed it in the waterfall model. The waterfall model say that before jumping to the designing phase, you have to complete your requirements first. And if you have completed all the requirements, then jump to the next phase. And if I say that I am here in on my second phase, I cannot go back here. I cannot go back to the analysis phase again. I have to jump here if my requirements are complete. If you still have some incomplete requirements, you cannot go back. So that was the drawback of waterfall model, that you cannot backtrack. You cannot go back if you have come forward or jump to the next step. So if you have completed your design, then you can implement. You cannot go back. For example, if you say that my design was not good and you have already implemented, you cannot design it again. The design that you have designed is the main or specific design on which you are going to implement it. And if you have implemented, then jump to the testing phase. Do the testing and then do the maintenance. You cannot, for example, in the modern era, you can see that you got updates, but that was not allowed it in waterfall model. What you have developed is just what you have developed at once. You cannot go back to the last phase, or you cannot backtrack that. So that was the disadvantage of waterfall model. That's why it is not being used now. That you cannot go back. You cannot gather the requirements again and again. If you have gathered at once, that's done. You cannot gather it again, and you cannot communicate the stakeholders for requirement again. If you have implemented, then you cannot again implement it or test it again. So that's why that approach was not used. For that, the other model was developed, that was called after the waterfall model. It was the V model. So it was the extension of waterfall model that says that you have to verify and validate on each phase. So what is the verify means? Verification means that whatever you are going to develop is right. There is no error in that. If it is a home page, its functionality is working properly. And the word validation means it is according to the user requirement. It is valid. Everything you have verified, it is what the user want, and it is valid. It is right. Means it is completely working well. So the V model say that in the waterfall model, here in the waterfall model, you done the verification at the end. Just like after doing the completing the software, you verify each at the end. But this is the V model. It says that you have to verify and validate on each phase. Now the first phase was requirement design. So you see you will do the acceptance test. Means you have gathered the requirement. With the requirement gathering, you also have to do the acceptance test, that whether the user will accept it or not. Then you will design the system. With designing, you have to perform the system testing, that whatever I am going to design works well. Then in the architecture design, you will do the integration testing, that each and every whatever I'm going to integrate or combine is going to work well. Then after module testing, you will do unit testing. What is for unit testing? Unit testing is for each and every module, each or every packet. And then after doing all of this, finally you will do your coding. So this was the traditional approach. Here you can also backtrack. But the greatest drawback of using this was that you have to do testing with each phase. So what if how you can do acceptance testing if your system is not completed yet. So that was the drawback of V model, and it was also the time consuming. That's why it was not used too much. So, but it produces a higher quality software because you are going to perform the testing on each and every phase. So this was the waterfall model. Then we see the V model. The next one is structured analysis and design development. So that was the third approach that was developed after the V and waterfall model. Now, what this says that here it says that you will perform the requirement analysis, system design, implementation in the data flow diagram using the what is the data flow and ER diagram. Let me show you this first. So basic idea is that it will look like this. The ER diagram is look like this. Here the rectangular boxes will be the entity, means the person or anything. Like if it is a person, then it can relate to this. All the attributes will written in this oval shape boxes. The decision will be in this diamond shape boxes. So this is how a ER diagram will looks like. You can also search it on Google if you want to know more about ER diagram. So this model says that you have to develop some flow charts or flow diagrams before going to any phase of the software. So it will give you the more clear understanding. So then the last one is the rapid application development. So it was similarly just like agile. So it says that you can focus on rapid prototyping. What is a prototyping? Just like you will build drafts again and again and on the basis of feedback. Just like you will develop a prototype and you deliver it to the customer, and customer gives you a feedback of more updating that or changing that. So you will do again and again, means rapidly in the short development cycle you will refine your prototypes with the collaboration of your stakeholders. So these are all the software models, but these are not commonly or mostly used. Then the last one is the incremental model, means you can divide your project into manageable increments or iterations. So let me show you how it will look like this. In parallel, you will develop the three modules at once. Means in the first module, it is if it is a calculator, then in the first module it might contain your addition. In the second module, it will be your multiplication or other arithmetic operations, but they are going to develop at the same time in the form of parallel manner or in the form of incremental manner. So it is how our increment model will look like. It is the rapid application development. Like you will, on the basis of the user feedback, you will develop module. Here you will first do the business modeling, means the analysis, then the designing, then the application, then you will do the testing. This is how at the same time you will develop the three models. So then the incremental model means what our incremental model says that you will divide the project into small parts, into iteration, into portions. You will develop the all over functionality. Means at each increment you will develop, test, and then deliver independently, just like this. On the first, just like here, you will gather the requirement, you will design, you will code, you will test, and then build one. You have built it. Then in the second increment, you will again do the testing requirement and develop the second module. Then you will again follow the same phase and build the third module. So how it is differ from waterfall and V-shape. In waterfall and V-shape, you have to develop the complete software. And if you have developed, you cannot go back. But in the incremental model, you will deliver into in the phases. For example, you have do the commitment with your stakeholders that in the first month, I will deliver the first module, and that first module will contain the login details. Then in the second month, I will deliver you the main page. That main page will contain the UI design and the exact functionality of the software. Then in the third month, I will give you the backend. I will connect the database with the software. So, in the incremental approach, you say that in the form of increments, step by step or month by month, you deliver your software. So, this is the incremental model that uh, every month you will going to add an increment to your project. Just like if you are going to build an application. Okay, if I take a real world example, what should we take? Let's say that if it is a game, mostly people likes to play games. So you say that if it you are going to deliver that application, you say that in the first month, I will only deliver you the basic functionality, some features of game. Like you will, if it is a car racing game, you say that only the car will just going to travel into the single track. There will be no timeline. Then in the second one, you just give the timeline there. Then you add more racers there. Then in the fourth month, you will add more features. You are adding the increment each and every month. So that is the incremental model. So the last one was the prototyping. Here what you will do, you will gather the feedback and refine the requirement. You just get start from the basic feedback. Like your user say that my UI design should look like this. I have only need the database on for 20 peoples. You develop that. Then after some time the user say that just change the color for this. I want 40 plus user. Create a database for 40 users only. So you do and then change your design. So this is what a prototype will do, that you will get the customer feedback, you will develop the prototype, and then you will test the prototype. Then again you get the customer feedback, again you develop the prototype, and again you deliver the prototype. So these are the traditional models that was used before the modern approaches that are being used nowadays. So these were all the traditional technology that was used in the early days of. Okay, then I'm going to end this lecture here.